We're going to see the continuation of online education. Online education has been rolled out because of COVID-19, and then when we come to the end of the pandemic, then it's going to be rolled back, but it's not going to go, and that was the whole point of the online education.
Do you see remote or virtual learning continuing beyond the virus?
Do you think this could lead into a more regular way of doing school?
It was to introduce it into the public consciousness, to force people to use it, and then to roll it back when it was not needed, and to keep it there as one of the foundations for the next generation of education. Because remember, education is not going into a industrial revolution age, it's going into a technological revolution age. The education system that we have, it's 200 years old, it's obsolete. Loads of people, loads of educators are trying to get rid of the modern system that we have, and this COVID-19 is a perfect excuse to do so. The resistance to online education is going to go away as a practical manner. People are going to get used to online education. At the moment, a lot of teachers and students prefer face-to-face, but as they get more and more practice and used to online education, then they're going to start to depend on it. There are some classes which you cannot do with online education, and so there's going to be a blend. They're calling it blend education.
So the surge in online learning spurred by the terrible pandemic might enable us to achieve blended learning opportunity for everyone, which has long been regarded as the most desirable alternative to the current failing learning model.
COVID-19 is a black swan moment. Educators have been wanting to change the classroom for a long time. COVID-19 can act as a catalyst to this. Although COVID-19 is enormously disruptive, it is also paradigm changing. We are going through a technological growth spurt, and we can see some hiccups on the way. We're seeing the hiccups on the way so that we know what to fix to make the online education better. So this is sort of like a test, if you like. This is what the problems are. One of the problems is Wi-Fi, it's the conference calling. In order to get over that technological hiccup, you need to install 5G everywhere.
Yeah, an essential requirement for shifting from a physical classroom to online learning is good internet connection.
And they're going to push 5G. Some people, poor people, don't have smart technology, so governments are going to start giving out technology free.
The Korean government recently announced its plan to provide students from low-income households with 330,000 smart devices.
And they're going to give data plans free as well. This time of emergency adoption and experimentation will speed up the adoption and embrace online and other forms of technologically enabled learning. The teachers are using video conference and emailing at the moment, but they haven't managed to open up the online learning universe. Within it, there is a whole spectrum of things to be learned and to have developed from the online applications. In order to get the platform to spread, to open up, we need to introduce the platform to the people, which is what COVID-19 has done. And we're going to see AI start to control all the education by 2030. The AI is there to take over the role of the teacher. The teacher has gone to facilitator, and the facilitator is going to change to AI.
When we talk about facilitator, it's my own learning, but there is a person, there's a subject expert who facilitates the process.
All you're going to have is perhaps educational engineers that keep an eye on the system, developing algorithms in order to have AI personalized class, because we're getting into a world of hyper specialization. And students, one of the problems with the past education is that you have one teacher teaching a class one subject. It doesn't cater for the specific needs of people. So if you had a genius in the class, but the teacher didn't have the capacity or ability to teach something that would invite the genius out of the person, you lose that genius. So what you need to have is personalized class, and the AI is going to monitor you and it's going to develop that.
I like to think of it as like superpowering teachers.
The monitoring at the moment is going to be done through recording of the lessons. All online lessons at the moment, or many online lessons at the moment, can be recorded and are being recorded in order to monitor the class. But this is a breakdown of privacy. Of course, there is this war going on, this war of attrition to try to break down people's privacy. People are going onto Facebook and giving out all sorts of personal information, but the state wants to get not only under the skin of people, literally.
We can solve that with a chip.
They also want to get into the house, and by going on to online education, they suddenly break through those walls in cyberspace because it's out of the dimensions. Because we're in the growth stages of online learning, the teachers are finding the resources. But once the resources have been found and mapped out, all the teacher, which is now going to be a facilitator, they'll just push the student into that particular direction. And the resources will have programs allocated to them, and the AI will be able to pick it up and specify what resources that particular student needs. It's sort of like going to be like an online dating. You put all your information into the online, what you like, what you don't like, and then it matches with someone else that then potentially is the right and suitable person for you. The AI is going to create lessons for you by understanding who you are and then finding the resources. But in order to get to that stage, we need to introduce the online learning, and that's what's happening at the moment. The teacher turned facilitator is finding resources for the students so that the students can go and learn. That will change in the future. The AI is going to develop its own algorithms to find resources for you once it's understood who you are by investigating you because you've given up your privacy or you've given information into the system that allows specific, hyper-specific lessons to be tailored for you. Because we're entering into a world where we're all unique and we need to find our uniqueness. And so this education system is going to be sold on that argument. Everyone's unique, and we have the capacity through AI to find everyone's uniqueness. All you have to do is enter into this system and we'll develop a lesson for you in order to elicit your genius.
One tool is called the portrait. So this is a representation of, all the things that are important about each child that different people can add to for curating a day-to-day education experience that's going to meet them where they are. That maps to a second tool which we call the playlist, which is the kind of scaffold for each child's day.
Education is going to be used as a space in order to push and advance transhumanism. Transhumanism is when the person puts themselves onto the grid or the cloud through putting technology into their system.
Ultimately, we can do a full brain-machine interface, meaning that we can ultimately achieve a sort of symbiosis with artificial intelligence. And we can effectively have the option of merging with AI. And this is something I think that's going to be really important at a civilization level scale. We can solve that with a chip.
The education establishment doesn't need to threaten the students, but it's going to become quite obvious that if you don't go along with this type of education, there's not going to be a job for you. It's already been said that 850 million children will not be able to have a job in the future by 2030 if they don't start to learn online type education. Elon Musk, through Neuralink, is trying to implant a chip or develop a chip that goes into your brain that has information downloaded into you so that you don't have a lesson anymore. You just download the information and instantaneously you know it. You basically are going to just become an extension of AI. You're going to become a vehicle for AI. It's not you that's going to control AI. It's AI that's going to control you. If we carry on with this trend for education of our human race, we need to think very carefully about how we're educating ourselves and who is in command. Is it us or is it the AI? Are we using AI or is AI using us? Because if AI is going to start developing jobs for us and then training us to take on those jobs, AI is basically creating a world that we fit into. It's not we are creating a world that AI fits into. Education is going to start recording the classes in order to develop algorithms to better help educate the next generation.
This is the office. Almost everyone down there is a programmer, and then in the back, you're seeing the educators. There's literally a technology company, behind their school working tirelessly. That's the kind of 10-year future that we believe is possible.
This is incredibly dangerous because if you are developing algorithms in order to create a particular person to fit into a particular type of job, you can also then create different types of thought and mentality. So the government or whoever is in control of the education can develop algorithms to put people to resources that make them think in a particular way that then make them obedient to the modern narrative.